Hello everyone, this is Kerwin and welcome to an episode of Travel Talk. Today I'm at the Keflavik International Airport, which is the gateway to Reykjavik, Iceland. And we're going to talk about paying for the services you need when you travel. Let's go. So, in today's episode, I wanted to address this issue because I see it happen all the time. So on the flight on today's flight, I was flying from actually it was yesterday's flight. I was doing from London to London Gatwick to Dublin on Ryanair, and this lady got on the flight, and her son was sitting away from her, and it's the image is reversed here, so it's a little weird. And her son was sitting across. He had well. Let me start over, because on Ryanair you have to pay for your seats or you get randomly seated. So she's flying with her son, and she didn't pay, so they got randomly seated and they're separated. Now that's fine, right? Because I didn't pay for my seat either. I just waited for a random seat. I got a middle seat. It was a middle exit row seat, but it was a middle seat nonetheless. Ryanair doesn't recline anyway, so it doesn't really matter. However, though, with this lady, her son was sitting in a middle seat, I guess closer to the front, and she got a seat somewhere in the back. Later, I saw the flight attendant scuffling around, trying to shift people around, and the reason why she was shifting people around is to allow that mother to sit next to her son. And the reason, he has asthma, and she needs to take care of him when he flies. If your child is sick or anything, and if you're traveling with someone that needs assistance, you need to sit next to them. And if you need to sit next to them, then you need to make sure that happens. Whether that be being loyal to the airline you're flying with, or you're paying paying whatever it costs to sit together, then that's what you need to do. Don't expect when you get to the airport to have the gate agents try to move stuff, or if you need to sit together, contact the airline. Now Ryanair is not that type of airline. It's not the airline you can pick up the phone and say, hey, I want to change my seat kind of thing, right? But they give you an opportunity when you're checking in to pay for the seat that you want. And so if you know you're flying with someone and you want to sit next to them, pay it. It's on Ryanair, it's like $10 or $12 according to what I saw. The fare I paid was £19. So for the two of them, it would have been less than $100 for them to get the seat that they want and sit together. Instead of after somebody else gets on the plane, now you want to move around. So you want to move from the back to the front, and that person has to move from the front to the back of the plane. Now that person had already settled in. She had already put her bags and stuff upstairs in the thing. So it's annoying, and so don't do it, because you have the opportunity to do it. And at the end, what you're doing is you're totally messing up the operation, because the flight attendant had to go. One flight attendant was asking her, so what's going on? She was like, oh, I'm trying to move this lady. That's how I heard. She said, I'm trying to move this lady next to her son because his son has asthma. And so this is the kind of stuff that you don't put yourself in that situation. If it doesn't matter if you fly an expensive airline or a cheap airline, pay for the services that you need. That's typically how it works. The same thing happens when you're on some of these flights. They give you an opportunity to upgrade, like they have extra leg room in some of the flights, and you get the opportunity to do the actual leg room change. Now I had an exit row. The lady across from me in the middle also had the exit row. Now the flight attendant went over to her and said, hey, this is an exit row, are you able to take care of it? She really wasn't, just based on her body language and how she communicated with the flight attendant. And the flight attendant looked at her and was trying to get her to understand. And eventually the flight attendant kind of gave up. She was like, well, I guess she'll be okay. So then the flight attendant tells her, like on Ryanair, you cannot have any bags under the seats in front of you. And so the flight attendant said to her, you need to pick up your bags and put them where they need to go. People at the airport are always so noisy. Um, well, she had a handbag, and the flight attendant is telling her, you need to take that handbag and put it up in the top. She's like, no, I'm not putting my handbag up there. And it's like, well, you're sitting in the exit row. This is one of the requirements of sitting in there. You can't have anything in front. And the flight attendant realized it was going to be an issue, so she said, well, just stick it right next to the seat, because in the exit row they're like little boxes. And so she said, just stick it right there. And so she did. The next flight attendant comes through and he's like, no, you cannot have anything. Can't hold that bag in your hand, can't do anything. Because she had already moved the bag. From the flight attendant telling her to stick the bag in the corner, she had already moved it. And so she moved it, and the other flight attendant came back and said, you can't. So then the flight attendant made her put it up above her. And one thing, when you put in your bag in the overhead bin, put it on the other side. So if you're sitting on the left side, put your bag on the right side. The reason for this is so you can see your bag. So if somebody's trying to move your bag or somebody's trying to take your bag by mistake, you can see it. I say that because today, this guy was sitting on the right side. His bag was over his head. This girl came in and she's trying to find a place to put her bag, and she decides, I am the queen of bags and I'm moving everybody else's bags. And so she did. And so she moved the bag from over the right side and put it on the left side. So then I'm thinking, well, this guy's not gonna know, or this person's not gonna know where their bag is. And of course she's all happy because she found a space for her bag. Granted, her bag is huge. I know these people say they're team carry-on, but you're packing a house inside of those bags, and those bags are heavy. Because I saw the flight attendant trying to help her with it. In the US, they would never have helped her because the bag is too heavy. It's just definitely too heavy. Like, that was a back-breaking bag. And it was also, bulky. So the flight attendant helped her. She found space for her bag. So we get to Iceland, which is where I am right now. And of course, she tries to get off. The guy is now looking for his bag. Can't find his bag. Eventually, he looks over on the other side and he sees it and grabs it. But that could have created a weird situation. So, pay for the services you need, and do not touch people's bag. Talk to the flight attendant. That's what the flight attendants are there for. If you have a problem, you say, hey, I need a space to put my bag, and they will find space for you. And when they move somebody's bag, they normally say, hey, whose bag is this? I'm trying to move it around. Can I put it over here? Or I'll put it over here so the person knows where that bag is. Don't be touching people's stuff on the plane. There was another exit row thing that was involved with cost, but I can't remember right now. Oh, seatbelts. I know I have a whole video about seatbelts on here, and I'll put it somewhere up here or there. But when it comes to seatbelts, keep those seatbelts on almost all my flights that I had, and I just had like 4 flights now. As soon as we take off, people release their seatbelts. You can have turbulence right there, and you'll go flying. So don't release your seatbelts. There's a reason the seatbelt sign is on, and apparently nobody learns anything from all the tragic incidents that we've had. And I think if one of them, someone lost their life, and because people weren't wearing their seatbelt, and we hit turbulence, and everything goes flying. Same thing when you land. The pilot's not keeping the seatbelt on to take you off, right? That's not the point. The pilot's keeping the seatbelt on because the aircraft is still moving, or the aircraft will be moving soon, and we're not at a spot where we've stopped. They've tracked the airplane to stop it from running away, and they put the stairs and stuff like that. There are procedures that need to be done before the seatbelt sign can go off. And so when the pilot is waiting, that's kind of what's going on up there. But people just don't think. So this morning, the guy gets up. We're airplanes moving slowly, right? Because we're moving into this stand. Because here, for some reason, they don't use the gates in this terminal. All the airplanes are parked off-site. I don't know why. With this terminal, it's kind of under construction anyway, so that might be why, but who knows? So we get up to the gate, and we're still moving. Well, the guy in like the first row, he gets up, walks back to get his bag. The flight attendant's like, "No, sit down." And of course, you know that once one person gets up, everybody is gonna get up, right? The thing is that one thing people need to understand, like in this airport, it's a remote stand. They're not gonna leave you behind. And even if you run out of the plane first, you're getting onto a bus. And when you get onto the bus, you have to wait for people to get off. So don't be rushing. Take your time. The guy next to me, he was rushing and he left his thing. He left his bag. So I picked up the bag, told the flight attendant I had it. And then she said, "Well, you know who it was?" I said, "Yeah, he was sitting right next to me." So I get in the bus and I can't see him. So I just shouted and said, "Hey, somebody left this on the thing." And he goes, "Oh, it's mine." His mom and his dad and his sister and his brother they're all flying together. And by the way, they're not sitting together. So I don't think they paid. They might have paid for three, but it's when you travel as a family, you need to get your money. I know I'm rambling about a whole bunch of stuff, but every time I fly, I see people do these type of things. Pay for the services you want. If you want to sit together, pay for that. If you need food, pay for that. I know that this is how the airlines make money, right? They give you a cheap fare, but they know you're going to be hungry. They know you're going to eat. Like this terminal down here, it's all restaurants. I mean, restaurants and stores. So while you're waiting for your connecting flight, they expect you to spend money. But that's a part of travel. I don't like it. I'd rather go to a lounge, but there's no lounge down here. The lounge is upstairs. So I'd have to enter the country, go back through security, and come back through in order to use the lounges upstairs, and then re-enter, and then exit the country again. I don't need to do that. The wait is like 2 hours, so it's okay. So instead of that, I'm making this video. So pay for the services you need. That is the important thing about this video. This is Kerwin with Travel Talk. Have a good trip and don't be that annoying passengers. Talk to you soon.